Yeah, so they didn't venture off. Yeah.
No,
That's
no.
that's interesting. Well,
Yeah,
Mr. Jeffries,
yeah.
this has been a great first quarter. We're gonna go to the second quarter in a little bit after we hear from the cheerleaders, and we're gonna talk about your transition to college.
Okay.
Well, we're going to start our second quarter. So, Mr. Jeffries, tell me about your transition from high school to college. Because you mentioned that you were getting recruited in basketball and football. What schools recruited you in basketball? We'll do basketball first. What schools recruited you in basketball?
Well, pretty much the same one. Fayetteville State, one Salem State. Johnson C. Smith at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I had some conversation with the North Carolina Central coaches, but at that time, really, Reggie, I hadn't. I guess being a kid, really hadn't thought a whole lot about going to college.
Yeah.
So, I talked to the coach down at John C. Smith a couple times. He came up to Salisbury and talked to me, but I ended up going to Livingstone, I guess, because as I said, it was a last minute decision for me to go. So, Coach Marshall, which was my coach back in the day, he's deceased now. He was a good coach, and he kind of talked me into coming to Livingstone. So, coming to college. So I went over there. When I got over there, competition was pretty stiff, So it took me a minute to get in the starting position, but I ended up getting a starting spot after the second game.
Second game.
Because
So
seniors, I as a freshman, the seniors pretty much had things locked down.
they pretty much, and it's tough. I don't think people understand how tough it is for a freshman to take a senior spot. That
Right.
that
Yeah.
means
Yeah.
you had to be excelling from when you got in the door, like from camp, because I know y'all had some pretty much summer camp. Did y'all do how many weeks did y'all do at summer
Exactly.
camp? 2 weeks?
Yeah, we usually went in first week of July, and yeah, well, actually, it probably was more like 4 to 5 weeks.
Mm.
We went in early because the season really didn't start till September back then, so we went in July.
Oh yeah, man,
So
July.
we was there we was about the middle part of July. We was on campus,
And it's a different kind of heat in
and so
Salisbury.
oh yeah, yeah, oh man, shoot, yeah, it was different kind of heat. We had kids down there that was sneaking out early morning, calling cabs, going home. I never forget there was two twins down there from New York, and we got up one morning looking for them. They had called a cab. They was gone. It was just practice was just too much for them.
Mm.
Because back then, we had to get up 5 o'clock in the morning,
Oh yeah.
go out, run the steps, steps in the stadium. I don't know if you all had to do that, but we had to run the steps, 10 to 15 minutes. And then we had to we used to do a barrel roll, they used to call it. We used to have to roll 100 yards, roll back,
Really?
So we had some pretty difficult trainings back in that day.
Was Yeah, now we did that roll, but we did that because of punishment. We didn't do it because yeah.
Oh, no, that was part of our exercise.
What?
Yeah, shit, we have to roll 100 yards and back.
I know how to be. So did y'all do so I know y'all did that. I know y'all probably y'all ran the stadium steps. What about that hill? Did y'all ever have to run that hill?
Yeah, the hill. Yeah, we used to do it every now and then, but again, that wasn't something that we had to do.
Yeah.
A built-in exercise, pretty much. One of the major ones, with two other ones, with the roll and the steps. Those was the biggest things, and the other thing was basically, jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, those kind of things. Yeah, and then we had to go to the sled.
Oh yeah, even the receivers had to hit the sled too.
Oh yeah, It
Everybody.
wouldn't. I mean, everybody went to the sled. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
If you put a
yeah.
receiver
If
on
you
the
didn't go
sled
to the
now, they gonna
sled, you
quit.
put, huh?
I said if you put a receiver on the
I'm
sled
sorry.
now, they might quit on you.
Oh, they wasn't on the sled when you was playing?
I when I got recruited, Mr. Jeffries, I played defense first. So I was playing free safety. So I had to hit that sled on defense. But then I moved over to offense
Okay.
a little, but no, we didn't really. Well, we'll hit it to block it, but we weren't doing anything
right.
major like that.
Oh no, no. We had to hit it and move it 5 or 10 yards
No, yeah,
with the coach standing on it.
really
Yeah,
yelling and fussing and
yeah,
screaming.
yeah, yeah. Blowing his whistle. If you wouldn't,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so, so how many people were on the team back then when you played at Livingstone?
Uh, I want to say probably in the neighborhood of 40,
Okay.
42, 45, something like that.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's probably how it was. Yeah,
Hmm.
we had about 50, between 50 and 60.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so, Mr. Jeffries, when you played, did y'all pass the ball a lot? Because you had 15 touchdowns your freshman year now. So y'all had to be doing a lot of throwing that thing around.
Oh yeah, yeah. We did a lot of passing. We had All American quarterback Alfred Tyler and myself, and then I had my partner Sylvester Sutton. He was on the other side. So and then we had pretty good slot Jack Johnny Jackson. He was in the slot. So we was pretty tough. You know, they couldn't double team us. You know, if they double team one, you know, the other one would go crazy. So
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty hard to D us. You know, we could all run good routes. I was about the fastest out of the group, so
So yeah,
you
I
know I
mean,
could get down the field pretty quick.
you 6'3" and you 190. So were most of your passes were they deep balls, like you get behind the free safety or the corner?
Deep balls, yeah, yes, I was doing deep balls, slants, outs, deep outs. You know, my favorite route was a deep out. We used to call it a four. You
Okay.
do a deep out and then you pump to you and then you turn it up.
Okay. I
You
got
know,
you.
that was
So you
yeah,
run the deep
yeah.
out,
It was
he'll
like a
pump it,
four.
fake that corner,
And
and
then
then
you
you up the
turn,
sideline.
yeah, turn it up the field. Yeah, we was playing. I probably my best game was we was playing at the Coliseum down in Charlotte, and we was playing Bluefield State,
Mm-hmm.
and I scored 4 touchdowns that night. You know, that was the biggest game in my career. You know, all of them was on post. A couple was on post, and then the fours. You know, they couldn't. By the time they come up to try to stop that down and out, you
It
know, I
was
turn it up. It was all over there because I could run a 4.4, 4.340, something like
oh,
that.
you was
You know.
moving, and then so
Oh
because
yeah,
yeah, the thing about running that route you said that four route, and you run that deep out and then fake it. You and your quarterback had to have a pretty good relationship because he had to be precise when he pumped that
oh
ball
yeah.
to fake it, and you had
Right,
to throw that fake so
right,
hard that that corner would either stop in his
right,
tracks or come
right,
up.
right.
And after that,
That's
you just
right.
had to catch the
Well, see,
ball.
the thing is, yeah, yeah. See, once you do it to couple down and outs on them, you know, they playing that down and out. So once
Yeah.
you suck them in, hit 2 or 3 on them, you got them sucked in now. So once you turn it up on them, you know, you got them standing their track. So most
Mhm.
time they just get left there.
So when you were running post routes, what was the defense playing? Were they like in a cover three or were they like too deep back there?
Most time was a too deep.
Okay.
You know, back then most time it was 4-3. You know, too deep or something like that. But you know, once you get to running those slants, you know, you run those slants. And we used to run a lot of slants because that was Alfred's one of his favorite routes. You know, you run that slant. Once you run that slant, get them run that slant, and then again, it's just like that four. You know, they get to looking for that slant. You go across like you go on a slant and turn it up on that post. My other wide out has got the other D back tied up over there, so now the post is home free.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know back then most majority teams wasn't playing a deep free safety.
Oh, so yeah, they were playing. Yeah, so one of them was already tied up, depending on that other route from the
Right,
because you. So it
right.
was X, Y, Z. Were you the Z receiver?
Yes.
Okay, so you're the Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you like being on that side of the field?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know, we most of the time, you know, we mix it up a little bit, but the majority of the time I would either be in that position or sometime I would go in the slot. You know,
Yeah.
if I was going to run a reverse, I would get in the slot. You know, because we used to have a play where once you come out, go down the line. It's just like these these little pitch plays that they doing now.
Yeah, the
They'll
pick
pitch
play.
it to you. Once you pitch it to you, then you hit right off that tackle. And if you beat that linebacker, usually you're gonna run, 20, 25 yards, or maybe
Mm,
all the way in some cases.
yeah, because that's all you got to do is beat one person pretty much. If
That's
so
right.
so you would just beat him to the like to the 9 or the 8 hole to the outside,
Right.
and then
Yep.
once
Yep.
once you did that,
Yep.
it was just, and if it was
Yeah.
sold properly,
See, our offense used to be set where, we used to do our guard and tackles used to do a lot of crisscross blocking
okay,
back then. We had an offensive line coach that he liked to cross them up. And see, once you cross them up like that, usually you're gonna have a hold if they're doing a good job with the blocking. If you're
yeah,
doing a good job with the blocking, it's gonna be a hold there. And we had a good running back at the time. Matter of fact, we had some good running backs when I was there. They wasn't on the capability of a Wilmot or something like that, but they was pretty good. We had a big kid named Dave Henricks. He was there when I got there. He's probably about 220, big running back. And he could go down the field pretty good. So we had a pretty good offense. Defense wasn't bad either. So
y'all had a pretty
we used to
balanced.
score a lot of points.
Sound like y'all had a balanced attack pretty much.
Yeah, yeah. We was pretty good. We lost a couple of games that we shouldn't have lost. My freshman year, I guess the biggest game we lost probably was Liberty City. Seconds ago in the game. And I guess really they got beat. Liberty City beat them the year before that the same way. Last pass, 3 seconds ago in the game, quarterback threw a bomb. D-back didn't get back. And my freshman year, the same thing happened on homecoming.
No, it didn't.
The coach had told them
we homecoming. You gonna lose the last second at homecoming.
Last second, the same quarterback, the same receiver from the year before. Liberty City. Johnny Walton was his name. He was a good quarterback. And they had a couple of speed burners down in Liberty City at the time. So, our defensive coach had told our corners, get back. Don't let them burn you. Start talking about what happened last year. Shoot, man, he let that kid run right by him. He was a good, he's a pretty good D-back too, Scott Perkins. He was one of our D-backs. He was quick too. Scott was fast. Scott probably could run about a 4.3 or 4.4 himself. But he let that kid run right by him because he was caught him looking in the backfield.
And what for?
So, 2 seconds left to go.
Backfield, the last play of the game with 3 seconds. It's nothing in that backfield for you.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
And the thing about it is, Mr. Jeffries, when you play receiver, you already know what's gonna happen. When you you can really
exactly.
I tell people because I played defensive back and I played receiver, but once I started playing receiver, I can kind of if they're even, if I'm even with a receiver, then I'm leaving pretty much. It's no way. I mean, if I'm even with a corner or a defensive back, you'll run right by them, and then they start panicking. And then once they start panicking and flapping their arms, it's like just all you gotta do is catch the ball. That's all you gotta do.
Right. That's right. Yeah.
And speaking of homecomings, did y'all when y'all played, y'all didn't stay in hotels, did y'all? Did y'all have to sleep in gyms?
Yeah. Back then we said, I think we stayed in about the only hotel we stayed in. We went to St. Paul.
Okay.
So we played St. Paul, and we stayed in a hotel and went there because they really didn't have accommodations in the gym for us to stay. But the majority of the time we were staying in gyms, just like they did when they came to Livingstone.
Yeah. So they slept in Old Trent.
Old Trent was upstairs. That's where their team slept at.
So did they have like cots or stuff in the gym?
Yeah, they had upstairs. Trent was upstairs, had upstairs in it.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
It still should. I would think you could go in the gym and then they had some stairs in the back where you could go upstairs, and that's where, they had a bunch of beds up there.
Oh.
I don't know what they got up there now, but
yeah.
But yeah, that's the way it was set up at that time.
So
the gym was still there, but you could go. They had steps that you could go upstairs, and that's where the team slept at. That's where we slept at in the summer.
In there, yeah. Did it? So
Mhm.
that'd be kind of. I guess it's because my uncle played at Fayetteville State, and he told me about staying in the gym also. But I would think, and my dad played baseball at Shaw, so he would tell me like they would stay in the gym too. But no students would ever bother y'all, or
No, no, we did not. Elizabeth City, they used to turn the heat off us when we went to Elizabeth City. We used to have to, on a couple of years, we had to sleep in our uniforms because that's
no,
how cold it was in that gym. Yeah,
man.
yeah. But most of the time, we didn't really get harassed or anything. Usually, it was pretty mild weekend for us when we stayed
Yeah.
there.
So if the game was on a
Mhm.
Saturday, would y'all leave on like Friday night or Friday?
Yeah, we leave. No, we leave Friday. We leave Friday morning. We
Friday
get
morning.
there Friday afternoon, practice, and then have a little meal, and then we get ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
I know back then. Let's see, we went to. I never forget. We went to Fisk. We went to
Okay.
Fisk,
Yeah.
and no, it was Knoxville College. Knoxville College. They had their little stadium was right outside of one of the dormitories, and that was one of the first dormitories that we went in, where it was what they would call what they call it these days when you have the men and the women sleeping in the same dormitory.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
co-ed dorms. Yeah.
and co-ed, co-ed down there. That's the first time we had really seen a co-ed dormitory because it was, you know, girls walking around in dormitories just like the men. So that was different for us,
That's a
you
lot
know.
different.
But again, we stayed in the gym. Yeah, I think that was one of the only schools that I had seen that had a co-ed back then.
Hmm. What What about how was homecoming at Livingstone back then? Was it kind of like it is now?
Uh, Pretty much, I would think homecoming. We didn't get to participate a lot.
We
Because
did.
need to say we had a curfew.
Yeah.
But that Saturday, we was able to get in. It's kind of, it's kind of hard to compare. It looked like they was having a ball on Friday night, during the week. But see, we didn't really get to see too much of that. Now
I,
Saturday, after the game or whatever, then we could kind of mingle around a little bit and kind of get a taste of what was going on. But
mhm.
it wasn't like being out of school when you go back to visit for homecoming. That's totally different scenario.
Not. And Mr. Jeffries, I don't think people who don't play sports, who football really, Coach Amos would always tell us, look, homecoming week, this is not for the football players. They not coming.
Right,
They're not. This is not for you. This is for everyone else. He said we got business
right,
taken care of, and he would impart from 95 to 99 after I stopped playing. He would always tell us that. So I got it the first year because he would say, look, all these parties,
mhm,
all these events, they're not for y'all. Learn the playbook, learn the team, learn your opponent, go to class,
right,
get out of class,
right,
get rest,
right,
and that was it. So I
right.
always understood,
Yeah,
but we had some players who thought it was for them and they would miss curfew and get caught. You gonna get caught. The campus is so small. Somebody's
right.
gonna catch you.
That's right.
But yeah,
Uh-huh.
we didn't enjoy.
Yeah,
We enjoy winning because that's what we were there for. It's a business. But
right,
and like you
right,
said, the Saturday night after we won, it was just like okay, we get to enjoy some of the fruits of our labor.
right. Yeah, it was fun though. I mean, we'd be in the dorm, we wouldn't be asleep. We'd see all the activities going on out on campus or whatever, trying to holler at the honeys or whatever. But
Hmm.
we was on lockdown pretty much.
Yeah, lockdown. Yeah. What about? Tell me about some of
Hmm.
your teammates when you were there. How was that relationship that you had with them? Because you were pretty close to home, so you probably can always go home get you a home cooked meal if you wanted to.
I did. I had partners that we always came, especially on homecoming. My mom used to have this big feast, and I take the guys down there. We go down there. I mean, even when I left school, before my mom passed away, when I
Mhm.
came home, she would still have a big feast down there. And I take all my partners down there. We go down there, eat the pig feast, chillings, and the whole
Oh
nine. I
man,
mean, she used to
y'all
have
was
so much
doing
food.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So my partner is Sylvester. He's over in Richmond, Virginia now. He was the other wideout, and one of my other partners, Sylvester. Sylvester's in Richmond. Then Scott, he's in Charlotte. So we communicate quite a bit.
Yeah.
We talk at least once every other week or whatever. So
That's what,
we're pretty tight. And Scott played. I guess played against Scott for 8 years. Cause see, Scott, that was a Dunbar and Lexington as well. See, Scott played Dunbar and Lexington.
okay.
I was here Dunbar and Spencer. So he was a quarterback over there. So we went head to head for 8 years. When he came to Livingstone, he came as a D-back, and I was a wideout. So we were still going head to head. Because see, when I was playing high school, we played both ways. You play offense, and then in my case, I played defensive end.
Okay.
Scott was a quarterback, so I had a whole lot of I had a lot of opportunities to light him up a lot of times. And then when he came to Livingstone, I was still running against him.
Yeah, because 6'3", 190, you pretty tall. I can see they'll put you on that end to get that quarterback, keep containment, don't let anything get around you.
Right.
You just get a lot of sacks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I get back there pretty quick. Because back then a lot of the linemen, what they was, some of them was big, but not like kids of today. But they wasn't that agile.
Yeah.
They wasn't that agile, and I, my thing was once I get that first step and get on the outside, if it's coming my way, then, I'm going to make the tackle.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty hard to block because I could maneuver, I could get out the way. But if I wasn't making the tackle, then I would turn it in for my linebacker.
Yeah, you, and that's the job of a defensive end. You turn everything in. Don't let anything, you keep containment. And that's what sports teach you, is that you have to know your roles and responsibilities at all times.
That's right.
You can't go renegade and do what you want to do just because you want to do it. You got to really be disciplined. And so, Mr. Jeffries, tell me, when you were playing receiver, how was it? Did you when people try to bump and run you, did anybody come close to you, or were they pretty much backed up like 5 to 7 yards?
Yeah, it was pretty much 5 to 7 yards. We very seldom ran into teams that would try to do the bump, especially with us, because like I say, we was pretty good, and we had a good quarterback. So if you try to bump and you miss on that first bump, you was automatically beat right off the line. So we didn't have a whole lot of that, our D-backs usually, we had scouts, from the opposite team that would come and look at us, and they would know, that they had to stay back because we was pretty good. We ran good routes and we was pretty quick. So we didn't have a lot of that, up bump and run kind of coverage like they do today.
Yeah, we did some
of it. So they gave us opportunity to get off the line.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we did some of it when we were in college. It was some teams that would bump and run, try to bump and run. And, you got to do a swim move to get off, or you got to, do a quick move and
right.
Go out. But most of them didn't bump and run because, we had Perry in the backfield. So when you got him, you got to see that train coming.
There was another kid back there too.
Chris Williams.
I think he had some family problems. So he was. Now to me, I thought he was a little bit better than Wilmot. Wilmot was more of a power running, but that Williams kid, he was rough. What happened with him anyway? He had he left school, didn't he?
Yeah, he after
did he
that,
have some family issues or something?
Yeah, I think something was going on with it. I just remember because that's the thing about it, Mr. Jeffries, we didn't have cell phones like it is now, so you can't really call anybody.
Right.
Come to camp the next year, and it's like you don't see the person. And then coach would always tell us, beat it in our head, load and reload, that, and that the black college speech that we always hear at every time you go for freshman orientation, look to your left, look to your right. Somebody may not be here next year. They would always say that. So, as an athlete, we just got used to like people not coming back, which was unfortunate because if we had more people coming back, it's a whole lot easier to keep that continuity going on. And then you don't have to keep training people over and over again. So he was that line, he was him and Wilmot together, and that's why we didn't pass the ball as much as other teams would do in the conference.
Right, right, right. Yeah, with those two kids in the backfield, you wouldn't have to. I mean, they was rough. I mean, that was a hell of a 1-2 punch.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we stuck
I
like
remember that. I remember those days.
yeah, because we used to call the receivers the Air Force. That was us. Then we had the ground attack, which is
Hmm.
Wilmot. But the line, people forget about how good that line was too. They would open up,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
run some
it
school
was
buses
good
in that.
offensive line. Yeah. Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Wilmot, they were good. I mean, and I didn't mind blocking for them and running the defensive back off. Because by the time they saw him coming, they didn't want to hit him, so they was glad I was blocking them.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, those
Yeah,
two guys were
yeah.
good. Who else did you enjoy seeing when
Mm.
we played?
Uh, well, I guess really those are the only two names that really
Kind of stick
stood
out.
out. I mean, in that era, but then later on, came
Yeah,
Ben Coates, and what's the name? They went to. I think he played in Canada for a while. In fact, you say you had interviewed him for a minute. JoJo White.
yeah, JoJo White.
I
Yeah,
remember him playing. Yeah, he was good. So some of the kids, I don't quite remember. But like I say, when we used to come back for homecoming, we'll watch the game for a while. But then most of the time we'd be off, turning our elbows up or doing something different or whatever. Watch a little
yeah.
bit of the game, and then we in and out like that. So.
That's what we kind of do too.
Hmm.
We'll because you don't really get to see your people or your teammates. So we'll watch some of the game and
Right,
then we'll make sure what's going on, and then we'll go talk and
right,
do whatever. But you
right,
so
right.
when we were winning those championships, Mr. Jeffries, how was that? Well, like because y'all used to follow us, and I tell people all the time when we won those. Well, really, it started. Let's see, it started before '97. '97 was just the year we got the championships. That when Coach A was
Right.
'94, but '95 we went on a homecoming tour and we beat Central on their homecoming and some other people. But '96, that's kind of when
Hmm.
I think the community embraced us. Like those little kids that used to be
Right.
at what's the I think it's right behind Civics Apartments. They used to be playing the drums and they had like a little band. They used to always be at our games, but the community really embraced us, and not just Salisbury, but the A&E
Uh-huh.
fans from Statesfield or wherever. So they treated us like
Hmm.
they just treated us like their own kids when they would see us.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, usually, when you got good things going on campus, usually you'll get that support. But lately, last couple of years, it's just been awful. I mean, you go to a game and shoot, it might be 200-300 people there. It's just been really bad for the last couple of years, and I guess a lot of that is because they really not winning a lot of games. So
Mhm.
as a result, the community don't come out. Even when you try to give away tickets or let them in free or whatever.
Mhm.
They still just don't come to support. And again, I guess just because we haven't had the chance, we had some losing seasons for the last 3, 4, 5 years.
Yeah, yeah, and people don't support losers. They
No,
nobody remembers the team that lost the Super Bowl 4 years ago. It doesn't even come up in anybody's
right,
vernacular. So as it relates to
right,
sports,
right,
you have to win and put out a
right.
product. At least show them that you're on the up and up and moving up. If not,
Yeah,
it's gonna be tough for the community to support you. And
right. Yeah, well, about the only game they really used to support was homecoming.
yeah,
They have a
yeah,
big turnout for homecoming.
yeah. So
So,
so as because I look at your class and people who came before me as the people whose shoulders that my team stood on to be successful. Because if it wasn't for your team and people who came before us, we would never be who we are. So number one, I want to thank you for just playing football at Livingstone, because there's some teams that played and they were not you guys, but they were 0-10, but they kept playing. And that championship
right,
just wasn't the '97 team; it was everybody who came before us, and we all
right,
recognize that these people came before us,
right,
and they made it they made it their way. They were trailblazers. All we had to do is get down the paved road,
right.
and not get a speeding ticket.
That's right. That's right.
But
That's right. That's
that's
right. Now you asked a question earlier about the following that you all used to have.
mhm.
We, I guess more like when you went to played in a championship game or even some games. We used to, when I was in town, 'cause I lived in Michigan for 25 years, so
Uh-huh.
uh, during the time frame, when if I happen to be here, then we'll, during the championship, I would follow the championship, and we had jackets, we had bought jackets and everything that year
I
that we
know
we,
it.
we won championship. I got a jacket now that it's got the championship year on it, and got a big blue bear, black and white jacket, the regular football jacket type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we and
Mhm.
I still have my two rings. I got my jackets, I don't wear it. I'll look at it every now and again, but it's just that all those hot practices and all those days when you
Right.
get yelled at and run the same play 50 times. That's when you look at it like, okay, it was worth it. It-
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't get any rings while I was there. I got a lot of accolades, but I
yes,
got a nice ring when I got out. We had a community Hall of Fame uh, ring that I had got. That's an honor that I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's a with Livingstone and Johnson C. Smith
oh, the
when the
commemorative
first
classic.
black schools played. Yeah,
Yeah, I think you went into it. I think his last name was Duke.
yeah, I went.
Dr. Smith.
Yeah, yeah. Duke and myself went in the same time. I got a nice ring for that.
Hmm.
So,
So tell me
I
about
wear it every now and then. That's not. Go ahead.
yeah, tell me about some other accomplishments that you got at Livingstone when you were there.
Well, we had the Coca-Cola. We had a Coca-Cola classic uh, frame that we had. Matter of fact, it used to be down the gym. It was a golden helmet that it used to be in the archive down there. I don't know if it's still or not. And every year that there was somebody selected from Coca-Cola selected someone from the plaque.
Yeah.
And I was on there for a couple of years, and then I had again just awards, from being the best receiver, scoring the most points or whatever. So it wasn't a whole lot of interior kind of awards going on at that time.
Hmm.
The majority of those came from outside, which was basically at that time Coca-Cola.
Okay.
So I got a couple of plaques from Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, that's real good. Good. Second quarter, Mr. Jeffries. After this, we're gonna do a quick halftime, and then we will transition from the Buffalo Bills. That's right, the Bills. All right. Good quarter.
Yeah.
So we go to HBCU, so we got to let the band play. So we just gonna play them real quick.
Okay. Okay. All right. Looks like I got some water.
No problem.
Got a little soda in there. That's just